Beloved by millions, Disney films are also beholden to some of the most terrible secrets. Let's do a little deep dive into some of them, shall we? And hey, if you've got a theory that you think belongs in this video, please tell us about it in the comments below. Number 10. Pitching Aladdin. Aladdin is a lovely movie about valuing yourself beyond the external appearance of riches and fame. However, the majority of the story is made possible by the enigmatic genie, who himself is a being of awesome power, able to grant any of 3 wishes. And while the story is wonderful, we do need to remember how it opens. See, at the beginning of the film, Aladdin is presented as a sort of sales pitch by a merchant, which is a tactic frequently used with the hopes of getting people to spend more on goods than the goods are actually worth. Because of this, and due to the film's ending, it's entirely possible that the story is meant to scam us, the purchaser, out of our hard-earned money. Number 9. Cars. A world where anthropomorphic cars exist in the place of humans. It's cute, but certainly not if you think about it for more than a couple of seconds. Why are bugs cars? Are all living things in this universe cars? Down to the bacteria? Where does gas come from? Dinosaurs? But if bugs are cars, wouldn't dinosaurs also have been cars as well? Going on the establishment of this universe as everything that lives must be a car or some sort of motor vehicle, then that would make the act of drinking gasoline an act of cannibalism. Oh my god. How do cars reproduce? Oh, no, I can't. Number 8. The Old Mill. The Old Mill is a short film from 1937 produced by Disney. It's an interesting film that delves into a surrealist presentation of life on an old and disused windmill. However, some theorize that there's a much more sinister meaning behind the film's existence. See, the dreamlike nature and strange angling of the Old Mill suggests that the film is, in its entirety, a dream. As it progresses further into a storm, the dream becomes a nightmare, which is commonly experienced at REM sleep. In particular, REM sleep is a point in which the sleeper is the closest to death, where their mind becomes as close as it ever will be to the beyond. Scary stuff, right? Only in waking does the sleeper escape their mortality. Number 7. Post-Aladdin. Returning to Agrabah, there's another theory which has been rattling around about the potential state of its world. See, Aladdin primarily takes place within a singular city. The only time it doesn't are when we visit the tomb or take a brief dip in the ocean. However, one theory goes that, based on inferred meaning from several lines, the film may take place in the far distant future, to the point where even the name of the real world Arabia may have been altered as dialects have changed and language evolved into the similar but distinct Agrabah. If the genie had spent 10,000 years to get his so-called crick in the net, then we must wonder what length of time in history could have passed for such an artifact to have been built and then passed on. This theory is supported by the genie's frequent pop culture references, ones which he could not have known. Number 6. Wheezy. Yes. Stinky Pete was the villain of Toy Story 2. We all know that. Oh, what a big bad man, sure, but I know the truth. Remember Wheezy? Cute, gentle, discarded Wheezy, so comfortable in his new disuse as he was tossed aside by Andy? Wheezy, who was only played with for 3 to 6 months before his speaker broke. He watched, cold, mute, and alone as Andy picked up better toys, toys that didn't break. And then, when he found the yard sale, there was a glimpse of hope. Perhaps he might be able to escape his misery, his life stuck behind the bookshelf. But that hope is cruelly stolen from him by that wretched cowboy who hides him away once more in the shelves, that paper prison where he's rotted for so long. And then, when Buster takes Wheezy, it's a dream come true. But once more, Woody throws himself into the fray. Wheezy's eternal warden of hate. But when Woody is taken for his troubles by Al, it reveals something. Perhaps Wheezy planned this whole thing. He knew Woody would have tried to save him, and so he made sure that Woody was caught by the infamous toy collector. Al's Toy Barn is a constant commercial. Wheezy would have seen it at some some time, a desperate plan, and ultimately one that was necessary for his freedom. Number 5. Fantasia. Disney's Fantasia is an artistic masterpiece, a surrealist showcase of animated skill and talent. However, it shares some interesting similarities with another work, one which many might know, Dante's Inferno. See, the beginning of the film could be interpreted as the flashing of a man's life before his eyes, the result of one passing on. From there, he is confronted by a devilish figure, and eventually taken up into heaven. With a precedent set by the old mill, it's clear that many workers at Disney were interested in portraying surrealist dreams, and with the amount of chemicals produced by the brain as one passes away, it's possible that the entire structure of this film was meant to represent this. Number 4. End of Snow White. Snow White, a Disney classic. A tale of romance, joy, and music. A tale of the end. In the opening of the film, Snow White is singing into a well when she is approached by a prince on a white steed. A common trope for sure, until we think about the implications of the color of the steed. When looking at the horsemen of the apocalypse, there are 2 riders whose horses are of a white color, one being conquest, the other death. I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and he who sat on it had the name Death, and Hades was following with him. A quote from the Book of Revelations. So, when Snow White eludes the prince here, only for him to find her at the story's end where she lay in the throes of poison, we must wonder, where was he taking her? I believe it's to her end. Her true end. Number 3. Heihei. In Moana and in Hawaiian legends, there are many gods. Several are central to the plot of the film. However, none are more devious than the one hidden within. That's right, Heihei is a demigod. This bizarre chicken is present for it all, and despite his immediate clumsiness, he is surprisingly durable. A normal chicken will live for roughly 5 to 10 years, and yet during the lifespan of Moana, Heihei never changes, never ages, just simply is. He does not need to eat nor sleep. All Heihei needs to do is be present to watch over his charge, Moana. And Moana does know this. She refuses to eat him with the statement that there's more to him than many think. I agree. Number 2. Carl. If you thought the beginning of Up was heavy, wait until you hear this. Carl is an old man, one who's lived for an extremely long life and is likely close to his end. This theory claims that he's already passed on, with Russell being his guardian angel. The idea of earning badges makes sense when contextualized by earning wings. Russell's desperation for Carl's approval is then justified by the fact that his entire existence requires Carl to be a good person, the earning of the badge being a symbol of Carl's kindness. And if angels can assume different forms, it would make sense for them to assume the form of a child, as Carl and Ellie were never able to have children, something which would have made him happier to see. Number 1. Wall-E food. A journey through space requires a massive amount of time and preparation. Resources are important, and their management is even more so. In Wall-E, the ships that are transporting humans throughout the stars have clearly been doing so for an extremely long time, far past the projected point that they'd initially imagined. So, what then are they eating? Apparently, it's a synthetic protein shake, but you can't just whip nutritious molecules out of the thin air. That's sorcery. So where do the materials for these foods come from? Completely separate question. How do they dispose of bodies? And don't tell me it's cremation. Lighting a fire on a spaceship is such a ludicrous idea, I will laugh you into the sun. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a good one.